Hello, welcome to this next video on TryGetComponent. So the topic of this video is just that again. It's just this new method called TryGetComponent that's going to replace our pattern of getting component and checking if it's null. So let's see how we do this. So this pattern of getting a component and then checking if it's not null is actually a very common pattern. And so there's actually a function, instead of getComponent, it's TryGetComponent. And it combines these two lines into one. So here's how it works. I'll comment out these two lines for now, and I will just write the if statement exactly how it goes, and then we will talk about it. So if other dot TryGetComponent, I'm going to write out, I'm going to write coin and coin. And that's it. That's the topic of this video. It's this line of code. But let's talk about how this works. So first of all, TryGetComponent, if you hover over it, it tells you it returns a bool. So on the left-hand side here, you can see this bool. That means that it either returns a true or a false. And how it works is that if it finds the component, it returns a true. So if other has a component of type coin, then we're going to go and do this code. If it doesn't, then we're going to skip over this block of code. So that's the first thing to know, is this returns a bool. But then the question is, well, how does it actually store the reference to a coin? Like here we used to do this line up here, and if it worked, we'd have a reference to a coin here. Well, here this function worked by returning a reference to the coin. But here, this function returns a bool. So we can't rely on storing it on the left-hand side with equals. So instead, we're going to use this out keyword. Now, the out keyword allows you to pass this argument, so this coin, as an argument. But it actually allows this function to change that argument for us, and we can keep using it afterwards. So here we keep using it. So at the beginning, this coin isn't defined. Coin, capital C coin is the data type. This lowercase c variable coin here isn't defined. But after this function runs, it'll be null if it wasn't found, or it'll be populated with the component if it is found. Now, there's actually a different way to write this line, and I prefer the second way. So I prefer this way, where I define the variable right here. So here is a variable that can store a reference to a coin, but currently it's null. So I could even write null just to be explicit. I'll get rid of these lines. So I can write null to be clear that this is an empty reference. And then here, instead of defining it, I can just write out coin. And so this is saying, if you find this component, then store it in this variable coin that I defined up here. And then we can use it inside these brackets. Okay, that's TryGetComponent. Your challenge is to implement TryGetComponent instead of getComponent on your obstacle. I'll let you pause the video and give that a try. Okay, welcome back. Good job for trying the challenge. Let's just quickly do this. So here's our obstacle component. I'm going to cut the right-hand side and just leave this declaration. Here's an obstacle variable. And I'll take away equals null. I'll just leave it. Same for coin. Just take away equals null, because this is null by default. And I'm going to say if other, and I can just paste what I copied here. If other dot TryGetComponent. Notice the angle brackets are no longer there. And instead, we're putting out obstacle. And there we go. So we should try it to make sure it works. But this is just a little bit more concise, a little bit easier to read. Okay, 10, 15, obstacles still work. So that's perfect. Now, the last thing to just note is that this pattern of checking if something's null, or trying to get a component, checking if something's null, and doing something accordingly, like we have here, either in getComponent and checking for the null, or using TryGetComponent, that pattern is really common. And so that's a good one to just internalize a little bit. If this is a new pattern for you, just really take a few minutes to let this sink in and to try to really understand it. It'll go a long way, especially as our programs become more complex. This kind of behavior will show up more. Okay, that's it for this video. Well done. We will see you in the next video.